Following program is MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situation, violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, we already kind of know this stuff. I don't think this is a surprise. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Tuesday. Yep, Tuesday, December the 23rd of 2025, day 357th of the year, and only 8 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there. Radio Big. Oh, yes, Radio Big, hanging out with our friends, colleagues, whatsoever. So how's the last 24 hours or so been? Because it's always a good time when you and I get to hang out and do our thingo. No, seriously, no doubt as we are talking, because here's the way that I look at some of this stuff. As we get to hang out, we get to do all kinds of fun stuff. And let me not lie here, I'm kind of surprised this is going to be the last show for the year. That's kind of the way that it goes. That's the layout of the land. This is what we do. So how are you? Are you working this week? Are things gone, not doing well whatsoever? I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on. I always like to ask questions because I think it's an interesting one when it's all said and done, when it's one of those fun things. So there you go. Anyways, let's continue talking right away and talk about what our show consists of. Our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's what we talk about. That's what we do, and that's how we hang out. So if you're good to go, I'm good to go, and we'll get to do all kinds of fun stuff. Doing, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and going down the multiverse of stuff as we are focusing. So with that being said, I have some people that come in from Feature Story News. They talk about some things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we go through everything. So don't worry about that. We'll make sure that they give you all the latest and greatest up-to-date information of everything that's going on, because that's what they do. And with that being said, they come in, take over, and move. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process on doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. Once you get there, audio, video, text messaging, that's audio, video, text messaging. That will give you some options on doing some things, moving forward, and changing everything inside of the aspect as we are looking around. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that, and we can go through the multiverse of things as we get to hang out. So with that being said, let me get my friends in here from Feature Story News, and we'll get this whole thing rolling as we're doing our last show of the year. So let's do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Stuart Smith. US President Donald Trump has announced a new type of battleship set to be used by the US Navy, and it's one named after himself. Mitch McCann reports.
Standing beside the Defense Secretary and the Secretary of State, Donald Trump announced that the US will build 2 new Trump-class battleships. Mr. Trump told reporters on Monday he is calling them the Golden Fleet and said eventually there'll be 25 of them. Mr. Trump said the new ships will have 100 times the force and power of any other battleship ever built, adding there will be nothing else like them. He said they will be the fastest and largest the world has ever seen. The president said that the US has not built a battleship since 1994 and said each one will be the largest in the history of the world. He said they will command respect but added that the world already respects America.
Tensions are mounting between India and Bangladesh following demonstrations outside their diplomatic missions. Bangladesh has suspended visa services at 3 Indian missions following protests over attacks on minorities. India responded by summoning the Bangladeshi envoy to lodge a protest, as Ishan Girg reports.
Bangladesh's suspension of consular and visa services at its High Commission in New Delhi comes a day after India shut down visa operations at its application centre in Chittagong, citing a security incident at its Assistant High Commission there. Tensions in Bangladesh have been running high following the death of Sharif Osman Hadi, a prominent youth leader, in mid-December. His killing triggered violent protests across Bangladesh, with demonstrators allegedly attacking Indian missions and vandalizing buildings. India has expressed deep concerns over attacks on minorities, especially the killing of a government worker, Deepu Chandra Das. Dhaka claims Indian authorities allowed protesters to approach its secured diplomatic enclave in New Delhi, while New Delhi says the demonstration was peaceful and posed no threat. Ishan Girg, New Delhi.
1,800 suspected North Koreans have tried to apply for jobs at Amazon since April last year, according to Chief Security Officer Stephen Schmidt. And the problem is only getting worse in what he claimed was an attempt by the heavily sanctioned state to launder international funds. Stephen Schmidt warned North Korean nationals are increasingly trying to get remote IT jobs, particularly at US companies, with his team spotting a 27% increase in fraudulent applications from DPRK workers compared to last year. He said they use identity theft, including hacked LinkedIn accounts, to try to trick recruiters into giving them work. They do that by remotely controlling laptops situated in the US to try to mask their overseas presence. An Arizona woman was sentenced to over 8 years in prison for running such a laptop farm earlier this year in a scheme that helped her and Pyongyang launder $17 million.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
I'm driving home for Christmas. Oh, I can't wait to see those faces.
Today, remembering the great Chris Rea, whose death was announced on Monday at the age of 74. It is inevitable that at this time of the year he's being remembered for this, Driving Home for Christmas, and it's a fine ballad to be sure, but he also deserves to be remembered for a host of other hits: Stainsby Girls, Auberge, Josephine, and I Can Hear Your Heartbeat, just for starters. Born in the British city of Middlesbrough to an Italian father and an Irish mother, he was working in cafes and driving ice cream vans when, in his early 20s, he bought a guitar. He released his first album in 1978 and never looked back. Music writer and broadcaster Matt Charlton.
Well, he was known for a few things and for different things on each side of the Atlantic, weirdly. So if you were in America, they sort of knew him as a balladeer, almost a troubadour. In the 80s, he became a sort of soft rock god when that whole sound was really taking over the airwaves on both sides of the Atlantic. But he was known for his slide guitar. He was known for his sort of Clapton-esque sound, or his Dire Straitsy sort of sound, and of course that voice.
Diagnosed with pancreatic cancer more than 40 years ago, Chris Rea had many struggles with ill health, but that voice.
I'm driving home for Christmas.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, US President Donald Trump has announced a new type of battleship set to be built by the US Navy over the next few years will be named after himself. 1,800 suspected North Koreans have applied for jobs at Amazon since April last year, in what the tech giant believes is an ongoing attempt by Pyongyang to launder international funds. And Vince Zampella, one of the creators of video game Call of Duty, has died, aged 55. Electronic Arts called him a visionary creator with a profound and far-reaching legacy. That's the latest feature story news. Stuart Smith reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's rula.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's rula.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from Jay Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by Jay Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns, and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Yeah, you didn't win Powerball last night. At least you have us. No taxes, no lawyers, and no relatives calling.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, here we are, 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Tuesday. So let's go ahead and start getting into it right away. So as we are finding out and doing all the great things that we get to do. So let's do this real quick. As you are aware, we are in that season right now where people are doing all of the shopping that's possible in regards of what is going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because, you know, it is that holiday season. So let's talk about this. Consumer advocates warn that scammers often promotion targets shoppers during the holiday rush, stealing card numbers before the cards are ever used. Experts recommend checking cards carefully to signs of tampering before leaving the store and always keeping the receipts. A Better Business Bureau expert told Inside Edition that they should run their fingers through the barcode. Yes, through the barcode on the back of the card to make sure that it's not a sticker. Thieves print their own barcode and place them over the gift cards. Take a listen to this.
It's as simple as something like this, right? Thieves can print their own barcode on a sticker like this, peel it off, put it on the barcode, and now you're scanning their barcode.
Yeah, so when you're looking at the gift card, if you were able to see that barcode, run your hand over it. You should not feel a sticker.
Okay, so there you go. Some barcode stories right there as we are talking. Okay, so let's get into some news stories because some people are going to care about some of this stuff that's going on. That's just kind of the way that it goes. So take a listen to this. Vertical integration. SpaceX has purchased at least 1,000 Cybertrucks from Tesla with the plans to double that number in the coming months. Both companies are owned in part and managed by Elon Musk. The analysts believe that Tesla has sold about 60,000 Cybertrucks in the last 2 years, well below the 250,000 per year that the target was set by the company. This is according to Electech. So there you go. So, I mean, I don't know. I look at this. Listen, for some reason, the Cybertruck became a level of controversy for some once it got released, and Elon Musk started doing stuff with Doge and the government. Some people got all bent out of the shape with the thing. But I think that the biggest thing, and this is, of course, an opinion, that ended up occurring with the Cybertruck is they did not sell as well as expected because that price point jumped so significantly. If I remember correctly, and I could have my numbers wrong, I think that it was lowest model trim 40, mid-grade trim 50, and high trim was 60. With nothing being said at that particular moment in time about the potential four-motor version. So I think that this is where you had the biggest issue because you had these huge jump in price points. And I believe that when the original one came out, the Foundation Series ones, which were a great deal in the long run once they started kind of moving everything around, you still jumped up the price almost to $100,000. Which, you know, if you tell somebody, hey, I'm going to get you a $40,000 truck, and then now you're adding about 60 on top of it, and don't get those numbers exactly right there, all of a sudden some people are going to have issues. It's just kind of the way that it goes. I mean, you can't say, hey, we're going to increase it by 100% or over 100%, and then say, hey, let's just continue moving forward. Just not the average consumer is going to be able to afford that. Shit, I wouldn't even be able to afford that. Let's just be realistic. I think that I still have my reservation for my Cybertruck, and I haven't done anything with it. Yes, I did reserve one many, many, many moons ago, but I was just like this. I'm not going to be able to afford that kind of a price for a car. So there you go. Okay, let's continue talking real quick. A pet cat that disappeared in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene has last year returned home to North Carolina. Gabby the tabby cat turned up in the local Humane Society, which was able to find and scan a microchip. In total, Gabby was missing for 443 days and made it back home. So you see, it is okay to go back home sometimes. I think we tend to forget that from time to time as we are talking. What do you think? Gabby the Tabby. What a name. Okay, so take a listen to this. A wayward driverless Waymo car went rogue in Austin last week. No, not a joke. Texas last week, let's see, driving on the wrong side of the street. The robot car wandered down the interstate frontage roads very, very slowly. Fortunately, the human drivers were able to stop and pull off to the side. Eventually, the car found its way to a gas station. In a statement, Waymo, safety is our highest priority at Waymo. Both the people who choose to ride with us and with whom we share the streets with. We take the situation like this seriously and committed to improving the road safety through our ongoing learnings and experience. This is according to or via My San Antonio. So it was in Austin, but it's My San Antonio responding to this. So I don't know. I was reading yesterday, I think it was, that there was a power outage in California and it caused the Waymos in the San Francisco area to have some level of issues as well because they were not able to connect. So This is all still technology stuff that we're going to have to, work out. Listen, don't get me wrong. I like being multimodal in regards of being able to do different forms of transportation. But man, we have to get into some of these things to have a true understanding of it. Because let's put it to you this way. If you're in a Waymo and it starts driving the wrong way down the road, you're probably going to have some questions. I was watching a video last week, I think it was, where this Waymo was in a hotel parking lot. It kept on making circles. The guy's calling. He contacts Waymo, says, hey, I'm having this problem, blah, 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 blah. They say, we can't stop the car remotely. And he was trying to get to the airport. So it makes it pretty interesting. So there you go. Let's continue talking about some other stuff. Airline companies seem to be going on the, out of their way to make miserable flying experience even worse. And a policy change for American Airlines no longer allows flyers purchasing basic economy tickets to earn miles or other perks. A basic seat now includes a free personal item and a carry-on plus whatever snack service is provided. This is according to CNBC. So what do you think here? I mean, it gets interesting, no doubt there, when it's all said and done. So no points. I mean, I will tell you, in between everybody trying to pinch a penny, in regards to the things that are changing. Like, I will tell you, there's credit card companies now that they have jacked up their fees if you are a purchaser of their membership programs. And I don't know if you're getting the return on investment. I look at it this way. If you do not fly a lot, you're probably not making a ton of money off of these cards that you are getting your quote-unquote membership points. So I look at it and go, is it worth it in the long run? That's the other thing that you have to factor in. So there you go. Okay, let's continue talking. So a crypto hacker sponsored by North Korean government ripped off $2.02 billion in 2025. Yep, not a joke. The eye-watering sum represents nearly 60% of the $3.4 billion in total stolen in cryptocurrencies this year. Over the year, the Kim regime has reportedly made about $6.75 billion. Most of this year's haul came from a single crypto heist, when $1.5 billion worth of crypto disappeared from Dubai-based crypto exchange Bybit. This is according to CNBC. Remember, before turning to crypto schemes, North Korea had a reputation of committing large-scale insurance fraud from the government. So there you go. There you go. What do you think there? Some interesting stuff, right? That's for sure. Let's talk about this one, because this was making the circles yesterday. I think it was yesterday that I saw this. Nicki Minaj is all in on MAGA. She sat down on stage with an interview with Erica Kirk at the Turning Point America Fest over the weekend, when Kirk asked about the backlash Minaj has gotten from the entertainment industry by supporting Trump. Minaj brushed it off and said, I didn't notice. Minaj also took California Governor Gavin Newsom to task for his support of child sex exchange surgeries and men playing in women's sports. Meanwhile, a straw poll of attendees of the conference showed 84.2% support J.D. Vance as the president or for president in 2028. So there you go. Some stuff to think about. What do you think here? A lot of stuff to definitely talk about. I am not going to lie here. So there you go. So what do you think with everything going on? We always look at it and go, well, it could get a little interesting around here, a little interesting as we are talking. So I don't know. Just gets weird sometimes. So let's start talking about some other stuff, because this kind of made some people go off kilter over the weekend. Kansas City Chiefs are officially crossing state lines. The team announced it will move from Missouri to Kansas, building a $3 billion dome stadium set to open in the 2031 season. The deal was sealed in Topeka when Kansas lawmakers unanimously approved the bond package covering most of the stadium and an adjacent entertainment district. The Chiefs have called Missouri home since 1963 and Arrowhead Stadium since 1972, but years of stadium negotiations ended with Kansas simply offering more. The complex will be built in Olathe, I think it is, still within Kansas City metro area. Kansas leaders celebrated the win loudly. Governor Laura Kelly declared Kansas a touchdown state, with officials projecting 20,000 construction jobs and $4.4 billion economic impact. Missouri officials, meanwhile, didn't hide their frustration. Kansas City Mayor Quentin Lucas admitted that the city was outbid, while Jackson County officials blasted the process, saying the taxpayers were being forced into bidding war to enrich wealthy team owners. So there you go. I don't know. So this is where it gets confusing. If you've never been to Kansas City, there is Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas City, Kansas, and the states butt up to each other. And this is how that works. So it has to become extremely frustrating, I would imagine, for some.
Duh.
When you take a look at that and go, oh, yeah, we're going to outbid each other as things go forward. So there you go. Okay, so let's continue talking about this. So take a listen to this. Jake Paul's legal team is working overtime after his knockout loss to Anthony Joshua, not because of the KO, but because people keep saying that the fight was rigged or that Joshua went easy on him. Earlier this year, Paul warned he'd sue anyone claiming that his fights are scripted, saying that the conspiracy theories damage his reputation and the sport of boxing. After getting knocked out by Joshua in the 6th round, those theories came roaring back. Former UFC champion Israel Adesanya added fuel to the fire, saying that it looked like Joshua carried Paul for several rounds before ending it, basically suggesting the fight had a soft launch before the hard stop. That didn't sit well with Paul's camp. Nikisa Badirian from MVP Promotions, Most Valuable Promotions, said Paul's lawyers are now actively targeting people online, including one poster whose claims about the secret agreement between Paul and Joshua pulled in roughly 200,000 likes. The alleged theory is that Joshua agreed not to knock out Paul, then ignored the deal and did it anyways. According to the lawyer, that's pure fantasy. Paul's team flatly denies any pre-fight agreement, script, or gentleman's deal, pointing out that Joshua had publicly said that he'd be disappointed if the fight didn't end quickly. So there you go. What do you think about this mess? I mean, I don't know. It's boxing, it's entertainment. Let's see. I tend to watch a lot of shows that are scripted. I don't know if you do. If you watch a TV show, it's scripted. I'm not saying that any of these fights are scripted, but what does anyone know anymore when it comes to some of this stuff? People fight, people make arrangements. Sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. I tend to watch a lot of shows that are predetermined outcomes, including professional wrestling, but I kind of already know what I'm getting into when we get into that. If you are looking at it from this particular point, were you entertained during the time? Like that whole thing too, when you start looking at people going, well, people would use performance-enhancing drugs for some of the stuff that they do inside of these workplaces, and not workplaces, so much of some of these sporting events and all that, and how it's not fair. Well, I look at it from the standpoint, why don't we just make a league that has that? Just a league of just performance-enhancing drugs. Wouldn't that be easier? I mean, back in the day, there used to be this thing, Pride Fighting Championship, that people used to say that that's kind of how it was. I didn't think it was a bad gig back then. But that's just my opinion. What do I know? Just a crazy guy behind a microphone over here. Seriously.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, we'll call it that. So take a listen to this. Paramount owners Larry Ellison has personally put up $40.4 billion guarantee behind the proposed hostile takeover of Warner Brothers Discovery. Ellison is also promising $5.8 billion if Paramount Potential's acquisition doesn't clear regulatory hurdles. The details show Ellison and Paramount are not backing down from their attempt to stop the acquisition by Netflix. So there you go. What do you think here? I mean, it gets more and more interesting as we go. I mean, I'm going to look at this and people are going to probably have 10,000 questions as it moves forward because, listen, you're trying to acquire another company, another entertainment company. And now all of a sudden, you have Paramount Skydance seeking to reassure Warner Brothers Discovery. But if you look at it, Larry Ellison of Oracle is now saying, hey, I'm going to take care of my kid, David Ellison, to make sure that he gets what he wants to some extent. I mean, don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted, as they like to say. I'm sure David Ellison is doing his stuff to get the work done, but it kind of looks kind of weird when your parents are jumping in to help. And don't get me wrong, parents always want the best for their kids. But man, is that going to get twisted up as people are going to start talking about that shit. So let's just not lie here in regards to what's going on. What are the conversations that are being had behind the scenes? That's going to be the other side of the equation that we need to talk about. So a lot of stuff to think about here.
You didn't find this show. You manifested it.
Yeah, manifestation and shows is probably not the best thing to combine together, but hey, we got that going on for sure as things are getting into the multi here. So let's go ahead and do our last, yes, I did say our last main story for 2025, because that's what this is going to be. So let's go ahead and get into that ahora mismo, because I think that this is going to be for us right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Let me be very clear about something as we close out 2025. This year did not fail because people didn't care. It didn't fail because they weren't enough rules, programs, or initiatives. It struggled because we kept pretending that activity equals improvement. I know. We had more safety meetings, more metrics, more dashboards, more buzzwords, and yet a lot of the same problems showed up again and again and again and again. Same injury, same near misses, same conversations after the fact, asking, how did we not see this coming? You know that you were involved with a lot of conversations that had that. That's not bad luck. That's not how systems behave when we confuse compliance with understanding. In 2025, a lot of organizations looked busy, but were not actually learning. We told people to be more aware. We told leaders to hold people accountable. We told workers to follow procedures, but we didn't spend enough time asking why the work was hard in the first place. Duh. We treated outcomes as surprises instead of signals, and we then did this. We had those parts that we need to talk about. We had those things that we needed to discuss, because safety doesn't break down all at once. It erodes. Let me make sure that I say that. It erodes quietly. It erodes when reporting becomes a checkbox, when near misses are logged but never discussed, when investigations look more like rule violations instead of system weakness. It erodes when people stop telling you what really's happened and start telling you what they think you want to hear. That showed up everywhere this year. Not because people are dishonest, but because systems teach people that what's safe to say. What is safe to say? If speaking out feels risky, silence becomes normal. If learning leads to blame, people stop sharing. If nothing changes after feedback, people stop giving it. And then leadership says, well, we didn't know. Or sorry.
We didn't know.
But the truth is, the system already knew. The information was there. The signal was there. And they were just buried under noise, pressure, and assumptions. One of the biggest mistakes I saw in 2025 was treating human error as the problem. It's not. Human error is data. It tells you where the system didn't support the work, where the design made sense on paper but not in practice, where the gap between how we think work happens and how work actually happens got too wide. When we ignore that, we don't prevent incidents, we repeat them. There's the uncomfortable part of leadership. You don't improve safety by demanding better behaviors. You improve safety by creating better conditions. This means listening before correcting, learning before reacting, and fixing systems instead of fixing people. And I know, don't get me wrong, that's entirely hard to do. Because it requires humility. It requires admitting that good people can make bad outcomes in perfectly predictable ways. I know, pattern recognition is kind of one of those hard things for people to deal with. And it requires letting go of the idea that control equals safety. I know, and that's going to be one of the struggling points for most people. 2025 reminded us of something important. Safety is not built in moments of enforcement. It's built in moments of trust. Trust that people can speak honestly about. Trust that reporting won't backfire. Trust that learning will actually lead to change. If you're wrapping up this year feeling frustrated, tired, or wondering why things didn't move the way you expected, that's not a sign to push harder. It's a sign to look differently. Before you roll into 2026 with a new program or a new slogan or new goals, ask this. What did we actually learn this year? What signals did we ignore? And what would happen if we stopped chasing activity and started improving understanding? Because safety doesn't improve when we do more. It improves when we see clear. So, as we close out 2025, here's the takeaway. Pay attention to what the system is telling you. Listen to the work. Learn from the messiness. And stop mistaking silence for success. No, seriously. Stop mistaking those two things. That's how you build something better. And that's where we'll pick up things in 2026.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month, and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion. The book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Radio Big.
USA, Canada, UK.
In the night.
Okay, here we are, 45 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out, taking a listen to Parallel Love. Okay, yep, we are still hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multi, no doubt about that. A lot of stuff going on. So here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Anyways, let's get into our move and groove of things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we are closing out on our final episode of 2025. No doubt about that. So let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now, and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Once you get there, there's all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to tell you, once you go to that website, it can change everything for you. It has so much information that's there, and you might go back and go, well, this information's not for me, but there might be someone you know that could use this. No, like seriously, they could use this information. TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. I'm going to tell you, you could go there. It could change everything for you. And it might even have the possibility of changing stuff for others, depending on how you take a look at some of the information that is there. Not a joke as I say that, serious business. Anyways, let's take a look at this. We talk about some of the stuff that we learn as we go through. So let's not do that any differently today. So let's go ahead and get into this. Today it's Tuesday, so let's talk about some of the YouTube tips of the stuff that we've learned this week. So take a listen to this one.
But one thing that I love to do, I tell all my clients to do this, is to write the list of characteristics of what we're looking for in a partner and to make sure that you match those as well, because that's an important part, because they have to be wanting to find you too. And so some goals that you could have for the new year is maybe taking a class where you're learning something new, a new skill, and in person you can meet new people, joining like a run club or pickleball. Obviously, if you're not athletic, I'm not either, that's totally okay. There's backgammon, Uno, a trivia night, whatever you're interested in, you can find in-person groups to meet people. And then for the soul, I think it's really important for self-esteem, for confidence, to really do something that makes you feel good about yourself, that gives back to the community, so volunteer work, or joining a religious organization, anything that makes you feel really good. You can meet people that way too. And now you have a really powerful list of like your values to bring to dates and to talk about.
So let's talk about that. So imagine that love story just for a moment. How did you guys meet? We met playing Uno. I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe that works for some. It's kind of a weird thing. I'm just saying. I am just saying. I don't know. I never know anything about what's going on. Take a listen to this. So today is Tuesday, so we talk about this. This is, we talk about some of the stuff that is, we take a look around at some of the movies that are coming out today. Let's give you this little clip if you're not familiar with it.
Out today on DVD.
On DVD.
Black Phone 2.
Hello, City. You killed me.
It's the grabber.
It took me a long time to find you.
You brought us here for a reason.
You're dead. You help people know that dead is just a word.
Okay, so there you go. Out on DVD, because that's still a thing, I would imagine. Anyways, let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Jonathan. Clarence Oddbody said, "Remember, no man is a failure who has friends." I love this. Clarence, by the way, was the angel in the 1946 movie It's a Wonderful Life. I've always loved that movie. If you ever feel like you're just not making a difference in this world, I think you need to watch this movie. Then, after you watch this amazing movie, know this. It was a flop. Yeah, the Christmas classic that's been seen everywhere for the last 40 years, it was not a success. How badly did it do? So badly, they let the rights expire. That's why TV stations played it every year. It was free content. But it's also an amazing movie.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
I'm Kyle Norris in for Alan Edwards. A Russian general has been killed in a car bomb blast in Moscow in an attack authorities blame on Ukraine.
Investigators in Russia say an explosive device was placed under the senior officer's vehicle and detonated as he traveled through the city. Officials have opened a terrorism case and publicly accused Ukrainian security services of orchestrating the strike. Kyiv has not commented on the allegation. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Ukrainian security services are stepping up drone and sabotage strikes on Russian air bases and naval sites.
Recent operations have targeted combat aircraft and submarines that Russia uses to launch missiles at Ukrainian cities. Ukrainian officials say the strikes are designed to disrupt future bombardments and force Russia to move key assets farther from the front. Russian authorities acknowledge some incidents but insist their overall military capabilities remain intact.
Police in Australia say suspects in a deadly shooting at a Jewish event near Sydney's Bondi Beach trained with firearms and carried unused explosives.
Investigators allege the men practiced shooting before opening fire on worshippers gathered at the community event. Officers also accuse them of throwing several explosive devices toward crowds that failed to detonate. Authorities are examining possible extremist links, while extra patrols remain in place around synagogues and holiday gatherings. Chris Anderson reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The U.S. Coast Guard is tracking another sanctions-hit oil tanker near Venezuela.
Officials say the vessel is part of a so-called dark fleet, accused of helping Venezuela skirt U.S. sanctions by moving oil covertly. Coast Guard personnel reportedly attempted to board the ship, but it kept sailing, prompting a continuing pursuit in international waters. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Federal officials are defending their handling of Jeffrey Epstein investigation records after releasing heavily redacted documents.
Justice Department lawyers say privacy rules and ongoing investigations required them to black out portions of the files before making them public. Some accusers argue the redactions hide key details and violate a congressional mandate for transparency. Lawmakers from both parties are demanding answers. Kevin Sanders reporting.
New video from Ohio shows an accused shoplifter pulling a gun on a police officer inside a Walmart before the weapon appears to jam.
Authorities in Canton say the officer confronted the suspect over alleged theft moments before the struggle unfolded near store aisles. Investigators report the suspect pointed a loaded handgun at the officer at close range, but no shot was fired. The man was arrested after a takedown captured on security cameras and now faces an attempted murder charge.
A South Carolina pastor is facing federal charges for allegedly cyberstalking.
Prosecutors allege the church leader repeatedly harassed and threatened his spouse online while the couple was separated and moving toward divorce. The indictment claims he used texts and social media messages to track and intimidate her over an extended period. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Merry Christmas! Happy holidays!
What do you want for Christmas, little boy?
From our family to yours, have a happy holiday, everyone.
And we wish you a very happy holiday.
And Merry Christmas to one and all.
I know how you feel about all this Christmas business. I never get what I really want.
Okay, so there you go. Happy Christmas is what they just essentially said. Yeah, not merry, but happy. There you go. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. As I take a look around back in 1997, Woody Allen, 62, wed Soon Yi at 27, adopted daughter of Mia Pharaoh. Yeah, that happened back on this date, back in 1997. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about some of those because that always seems to be an important aspect. Finn Wolfhard turns 23. Isabella Castillo turns 31. Ana Maria Perez turns 35. Noel Wells turns 39. Harry Judd turns 40. Danielle Busby turns 42. Holly Madison turns 46. Kirby Smart, 50. Nick Moran turns 56. Eddie Vedder turns 61. Jim Harbaugh turns 62. And Susan Lucci, she turns 79 today, just in case if you were wondering. If you're wanting to know exactly what do I want to know? I want to talk about things that you should probably know. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. Tonight's Mega Million jackpot will be for $100 million. Here's last night Powerball winning numbers. Jackpot was 318, 36, 41, 54. Powerball was 7. Power Play was 2. And since there was no jackpot winners, Saturday night jackpot climbs to $1.7 billion with a B, just in case, if you were wondering. Also, holiday travel chaos is officially airborne. Airports across the U.S. were slammed yesterday as one of the busiest travel days of the year triggered nationwide delay. The FAA stepped in and hit the brakes, imposing traffic flow restrictions at 21 major air hubs, including New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Atlanta, Washington, Boston, Miami, and Minneapolis. The results, the flights were stacked like carry-ons on overhead bins. So there you go. In some other news, Girl Scout cookie season varies depending on the local council, but most councils conduct their season between January and April. According to organizations, some areas around the country have already started selling cookies as of late December. To find out when your local Girl Scout Council cookie season is, enter your zip code in the Girl Scouts website and they'll let you know. Also, in some other news, boxing fans got an early Christmas reality check on December the 19th when Jake Paul stepped into the ring with former two-time heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua and really hit back hard. Paul lasted longer than many expected, but the fairy tale ended in the 6th round when Joshua knocked him out cold. Paul later revealed that the real damage, a fractured jaw in 2 pieces. The injury turned into to be no joke. Paul needed facial surgery, had metal plates installed, and even lost a few teeth in the process. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely day. Hopefully you had a grand time throughout the year as we were able to do some things together, because it's always important for us to be able to hang out and do some stuff. Listen, it's been an interesting year in regards to what we've been able to do with Safety FM and the stuff on Radio Big, of course, with the Rated R Safety Show. Also with Safety FM with Jay Allen coming to an end with episode 777. Signal Reflection coming into life in regards of what we've been doing with that podcast that we just recently started that we haven't really been talking about here. But thank you so much throughout the year. I hope you have a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year, a Happy Holiday, and we will be back next year in regards of doing our chaotic stuff around here. No doubt about that. Thank you for always being the best part of what we do around here, no doubt. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye. Happy
The
holidays.
views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios, as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.